Hello and welcome to the unit tutorial for Science Year 2, Unit 3, Habitats, and this is video part 2. This video will walk you through the following areas: how to adapt activities and lessons, and key moments within the unit to look out for. Adapting activities can be easily done by using the ebook workbook and the snipping tool to paste the activity onto a Word or Publisher document and edit it. From there, you can print it and stick the adapted activity into your exercise book or directly over the workbook original activity. You may be familiar with the snip tool, but it can be found by searching in the search bar or simultaneously pressing Windows, Shift and S. Drag your mouse to highlight the area you want to copy, and that selection of your screen can be copied onto your clipboard and then onto your Word or Publisher document. I'm now going to go through some of the activities in each of the lessons in the pupil workbook and how to adapt them. We don't have time to go through every single activity, so the ideas and suggestions I present here can be used if fitting in the activities we don't unpick. In Lesson 1, pupils are asked the question, are these things living, dead, or have never lived? Support pupils by using the first answer as a model. Create living, dead, and have never lived cards for pupils to stick in. Give pupils boxes to tick. Give examples for the investigate task. And stretch pupils by asking them to explain how they know what they picked has never lived. In Lesson 2, pupils undertake an investigation where they need to find 3 things around the school which are living, 3 things that are dead, and 3 things that have never lived. Support pupils by adding examples. Ask pupils to draw instead of write. Ask pupils to complete just 1 or 2 examples of each instead. Give pupils a sentence starter. And stretch pupils by asking them to explain how they know each object is dead, living, or has never lived. In Lesson 3, pupils need to match the plant to its name. Support pupils by adding some answers to give pupils more time to be successful. Add the first letter to some or all of the answers. And stretch pupils by asking them if they think that you can see these plants all year round and why. In Lesson 4, pupils need to choose 2 different microhabitats in the school grounds and write a sentence to describe each one. They should use the words in the word bank to help. Support pupils by taking photos or print images to support pupils when describing the 2 microhabitats. Stick the keywords over the answer lines for pupils to circle instead of write. And stretch pupils by asking them to answer questions such as, what do you think the best microhabitat for a caterpillar would be and why? In Lesson 5, pupils need to match the facts about worms to how they are suited to their habitats, and then go on to list adjectives to describe the habitats of worms. Support pupils by highlighting the key information, by completing one answer to allow pupils more time to be successful, and by giving a word bank of adjectives for pupils to circle. Stretch pupils by asking them to describe a habitat that would not suit a worm and why. In Lesson 6, pupils need to write down facts about the Sahara and the Arctic. Create answer cards to support pupils to read and stick into the appropriate place. Complete some of the answers as a model. Give pupils keywords to use in their answer and sentence starters. And stretch pupils by asking them to explain what sort of habitats snow leopards live in and why. In Lesson 7, pupils need to draw a picture of food and the animal which eats it. Then they need to add an arrow to show is eaten by. Support pupils by starting off the food chain. Include keywords as a support. Add examples of animals for pupils to tick. write a food chain below the images, and stretch pupils by asking them to create a food chain of animals that haven't been studied that lesson. In Lesson 8, pupils are given two incorrect food chains. They are asked to complete them correctly underneath and explain what was wrong in the first ones. Support pupils by starting off the food chain. Add keywords beneath the arrows to remind them. Include images as support. And add a sentence starter. Stretch pupils by asking them why plants would never be in the middle or at the end of a food chain. In Lesson 9, pupils are asked to look back at what they found in their habitat and write about what has changed and what has stayed the same. Support pupils by asking them to draw what's changed and what stayed the same instead of write. Ask pupils to write bullet points instead of sentences. And stretch pupils by asking them why they think some things changed and why some things stayed the same. In Lesson 10, pupils need to make a poster describing what a good habitat would be for a worm. Support pupils by giving them a poster template to use. Print images that can be used in the poster and give pupils a bank of keywords. Stretch pupils by asking them to present their posters. In preparation for the unit, plan an engaging hook to excite pupils for the learning to come. Print off any additional resources per lesson, and gather resources for specific lessons by reading through the unit planning guidance. Hopefully you now feel confident about accessing and teaching this unit. Any questions, please send to primarymastery@curriculumplus.org.uk. We welcome all feedback to ensure these resources are as supportive as possible. Thank you.